Hey everybody, it's Strict9 with Strict9 GP, and welcome back to another episode of my Out of the Park 20 playthrough with the Phillies. It's been a while since the last episode. I had the holiday came up, and I kind of took a break from putting an episode out at the end of last week. But a lot has happened offline, and pretty much the whole season's happened offline, and once again, we lost another World Series. Disappointing way to end it, but we did manage to push it to Game 7. We lost to the Yankees. It was really a lot of back and forth in this playoffs. We did pretty good. I mean, if you look at starting with the division series, there was a big upset here in that series. Arizona lost to Colorado 3-1, so that gave us home field advantage if we won against Chicago, and we pushed that one to Game 5, won it 1-0, took extra innings to win it. But the league championship series against Colorado was really in doubt there towards the end. But we again managed to pull it out in Game 7, 4-3 against the Rockies. The big, I think in some ways we got more offense here, but the big struggle has been generating offense. And I've gotten to the point where I'm not even playing the games out anymore. I've just been simming them because no matter what I did, the offense was the same. And I just think my team had a better chance, honestly, to just sim it and let the AI determine it. And World Series, same deal. I simmed the whole thing. And it was really back and forth. We won the first one 3-0, lost Game 2, Game 3, won Game 4. So we were up. We were down 2-1, tied it. New York won Game 5. They went up 3-2, and then we came back, won Game 6 to force the Game 7. And Game 7, we just got obliterated. I was able to go with Parker, but he gave up 4 runs on some really hard hits there in 2 1/3 inning. I took him out. He had a pretty poor postseason, and we were done from that moment on. I mean, scoring over 2 runs is just it's a tall challenge in the playoffs, I'm finding. And as disappointing as it is, we're down another World Series. So third time in 5 years we've made it to the World Series and can't win. And I'm 1 year left on this season, and I'm going to go ahead and get the off season started. This is probably a short episode. I'm really debating if I want to come back and do another season or just start a new playthrough because I feel like the overriding goal is to make the World Series and win it. And if we haven't won it in these 3 times that we've gone, I just don't see it happening. The only thing that keeps me wanting to stay around for one more season is I'd like to see how Thompson does. We are going to have some money to play around with in the offseason. We're finally losing some big contracts, so it would be nice to see that. But I just don't see us winning the World Series at this point. And so it might be that we just get through the season, see how some guys do, and finish it up on that note. But, I didn't think we'd make the World Series this year, and we did. So it's hard to say, but I'm not feeling it anymore. I think there's something about the offenses that I'm putting out there that when it comes to playoff time, they're just not able to get it done. and it's, I've kind of changed my strategy a little bit. I've stopped playing out the games, so I feel like simming through it, the playoffs, just to see the results is not as satisfying either. So I kind of like to start over with another playthrough, but I'm not quite ready to do that either. But let's take a look at the off season here real quick. So right off the bat, we've got, honestly, I think some pretty decent news. Even though Doughty had a good year for us, that frees up another $8 million. So Radeball, I think, is possibly ready to go. So I'm okay with that he voided his last contract year. So we look at the review of the season goals. This guy, I'm sure, is happy. He's delighted with his performance. He's already given me a 4-year contract extension. Budget-wise, looks like we're still better than we where we were maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So I'll take it. But I think he's kind of come down from maybe where we started last season off. But still think it's going to be enough to get us through. We got some players retiring, staff member. In Philly, the hitting coach retired. I'm okay with that too because I feel like I need to go. I think he was a power-based coach. I'd like to go with some back to the contact, honestly, that did so well for me, or maybe even let's see what kind of hitting coaches are out there. So we got a neutral. Do I have anybody really in? Sometimes I've had good luck promoting someone who, if they are, don't see anybody really to promote at this point. So I probably put out a he's a neutral focus, but he's rated as good. So he's the best one out there. I'll at least offer him a contract. So back to the news that I got here. I'm going to have definitely going to have some personnel to fill in the minors. And then on the arbitration side, we got Ken Dion coming back. He was injured a lot this year, and he's lost some movement. The movement went down quite a bit. I think it's time to see what I can get for trade for him. Now, if I could get a catcher, that would be awesome. We're still struggling with catching. Soto, he comes up a lot. And his offense is really just not that good for $17 million. And there's some big contracts being offered here. I think a lot of teams trying to get rid of some salaries. We got Juan Peraza. No. He's wrecked. Bobby Anderson. Juan Palma. Now this would really satisfy what we're losing at first, because we are going to lose Paris this year at first. Yeah, I'm okay with that trade, honestly. He's good against lefties. He's a right-handed bat, which we definitely need. He's not going to cost us a lot this year. Is going to cost us some next year, but I'm not really concerned about that because I'm going to be retiring after this year. So I like that trade. I think that is a huge pickup. So Juan Palma, coming off a good year at Houston too, so I will definitely make this trade. We didn't lose a whole lot in terms of last year, so we lost some fan interest but gained it, so not too bad there. I'm okay with that. And then that means Paris, who's gone, but Cal could definitely be trade bait right now. So let's look at the rest of arbitration. Zach Thompson, of course, is going to get whatever he asks for. I'm going to stay with Clark another year. Ben McGee, I'm going to try to trade him. I can't see giving him $8 million. And, of course, that would leave us definitely with a hole, a catcher. But I'd almost want to gamble at this point. So we got a good-looking minor league right fielder, but he has terrible ratings. Soto, another trade offer there. I'm sure that I think it's Baltimore. They're just wanting to dump that salary. Josh Neal. I mean, to be honest with you, he's more serviceable at the money that he's going to make. He's due $7.5 million. Nope, can't do that. I'd rather keep who I got. Steve Wilcox, terrible defender. I can't believe New York's willing to trade Granda. Sign him to a big contract that doesn't really kick in until after next season. I may wind up having to keep McGee. As much as I do not like that $8 million, I'm going to go $7 million. See if that will happen. Wait, why did it do that? Yeah, there we go. Vega, I'm ready to trade this guy. As much as he means to fan interest, he is so weighted against in that lefty-righty split that he's damaging, really. And honestly, Robolio looked good when he was called up in September. Unless he loses some ratings, I'd be willing to give him a shot full time next year. It's got Jerry Nurowski, $34.5 million, $40 million almost next year. That's a terrible contract. So we do need potentially some infield help, starting pitching help. Neal, he's fragile. Sincere Michaud, he comes up a lot. Chris Taylor. Mike Joyce, terrible ratings in terms of personality. Not seeing much here. Flores. I mean, he's not due arbitration next year. Steve Heyer. Yeah, I could go with this guy. He's a good-looking pitcher. He might even have a chance at starting rotation. Some good pitcher prospects here, but this guy's never pitched above Double-A. That kind of scares me. This is a good-looking reliever, but I'd like somebody who's at least got the chance to start. Here's a couple third basemen here from St. Louis. Another first baseman. This first baseman looked like a lot of good ones on the market this year. So go back to Houston. And was it Flores? No, Heyer. I'll take a chance on this guy. Definitely going to give us some money there. I know we're going to have some fan interest issues because Vega was a fan favorite, but he's coming off a year where I just think keeping him again is going to be risky. He had a .6 wins above replacement, and the splits on him against lefties, hitting 200. I mean, he's just a liability against lefties, and defensively, he's pretty good. But I saw him make some errors in the playoffs, so I'm not too sad about this trade, to be honest. His average keeps going down. I think he's probably going to struggle to hit 200 next year. So back to arbitration. Jim Gutierrez I'm going to keep. He's a good defender. He's got good speed. Gives you a lot of games usually, so I think he's worth keeping around. Pritchard. Yeah, I'll keep him at that money. Atchison, I think I'll keep him at that money. And then Warlick, I'm going to give him one more chance, but he might be someone I could trade in the offseason, to be honest. So we got Bond, Doughty, Courtane, Parker, Paris. Paris is just, at this point, he's fragile. I think he's a little bit overrated. Parker, is it worth going one more year? I'm gonna offer him, submit a qualifying offer for him. If he takes it, that'd be great. If he doesn't, I'm okay with that. And so let's go see if we can get through the awards real quick. Already getting some trade proposals from Cleveland. Third baseman, he's a 2-star, and they're wanting Buck, and Buck might be somebody who's going to factor into our starting rotation next year. On it, he could be 4th or 5th starter on this rotation right now. So I'm going to look through the awards, and then I'll do the rest of the moves offline. Probably get through the arbitration period, free agency. But let's look at the Gold Glove winners starting off. I don't see any former Phillies in the American League. In the National League, Zach Thompson, one more time. He has won the Gold Glove at pitcher all 4 years he's been in the league. We also got Pritchard getting some love there. That's his first time winning the Gold Glove at left field, so that's good to see. And then we'll go through a few more awards here. Reliever of the Year, Hasselbeck in Oakland. That's first time winning it. I don't see any former Phillies there, but hey, Hadakiyama, second year in a row he's won the Reliever of the Year. Didn't have a lot of saves this year. Did have quite a bit of wins for a closer. 3.2 wins above replacement. He's looked really good since he's been the closer on this team. Eric Uribe, who I extended for a couple more years, he got some votes there, was 5th in voting. We did get the pitching coach, so he's going to be the new pitching coach in Philadelphia. And the Platinum Stick Awards, similar to Silver Slugger. In the American League, boy, how about this name? Ian Norman for Houston. I looked at him, I think, in a previous episode. He had his best offensive year since he's been in the league. And that's still not saying much, but I think what it's saying is just how valued the catching is in this playthrough right now. I mean, it's not going to take a whole lot for a catcher to be considered one of the best in the league. I mean, here's 6 seasons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and really only 5 full seasons. He was injured in 2042, and he's already at 25 wins above replacement. So he's averaging about 5 wins above replacement this season. And then for the rest of the American League, some guys that we faced in the playoffs here, the Yankees. The Yankees just had an amazing team this year. And then in the National League, no Phillies on this list. Joe Howard, a guy at Arizona, has been an award winner several times in this league. Suzuki, no surprise at first. Joe Sullivan, another Arizona guy who got the award at catcher. So let's go ahead and get to Most Valuable Player award at least. And so Rookies of the Year, Caballero for Texas. He did have a good year. He's 3.5-star player at 25. 31 home runs, good production numbers. And then for the National League, it went to Juan Ilis, if that's how you're saying his name. He had a pretty high average. I don't know if he deserves it over some of these other guys. Gramajo got some votes. I'm a little disappointed on this one, to be honest. 14 wins, ERA really good, respectable, 3.5 wins above replacement. I think he should have gotten more votes. Bobby Hall, another good pitcher, probably deserved it over the one who got it. Probably, you take away the wins, had the best record or the best year of any rookie that I'm seeing in this list. Now, Managers of the Year for the Yankees went to Josh Alley. First time he's won that, even though they've made the playoffs now 5 years in a row, and we didn't win it this year. Went to Arizona. Santos, who has won it previously a few times, won the World Series before, made the playoffs several times in a row. We got Hall of Fame voting starting, but I'm going to look at I'll look at that after I look at the award winners. So for Cy Young in the American League went to Nurowski, who was offered in trade there by several guys. When I shopped the several guys already. So guy gives you a lot of strikeouts. Pretty decent pitcher. This is the first time he's won the award. I don't know. That seems pretty weak. Guardado, 19 wins, lower ERA. Just his wins above replacement wasn't as high. I don't see any former Phillies here, but I do see a couple Yankees that we had to face in the World Series. And it did not go to Thompson this year, which I kind of figured. Reza had best wins above replacement, and he led in strikeouts, whip, 16 wins, low ERA. Williamson even, I think he did have a better year than Thompson, sub-2 ERA, 17 wins. But Thompson finished third in voting. Another solid year from him. Pete Parker did get some votes. What was that? 1, 2, 3, 8th in voting. Another solid year from him. I mean, if he's getting to the end of his career, he's going out in style. I'll say that much. And then for MVPs, Juan Castillo, I think this guy deserved it. He has been a very productive player for Cleveland since he's been in the league. This was obviously his best year. 235 hits, 35 homers, 121 RBIs. Led the league in batting average, had a high wins above replacement. Josh Gordon got some votes there, former Philly at the White Sox. I think this guy has a shot at the Hall of Fame because he's going to more than likely be signed one more year. He's going to pick up, I think, 500 plus home runs. Might get over 60 wins above replacement. He's going to be on the bubble for sure. I think if he comes out to the Hall of Fame at the right time, he's going to get some votes. Ian Norman even got some votes here. And then for the National League, it went to Joe High. First time he's won that, but it's like they've been rotating in that Arizona team. It's like Suzuki, who's never won it, but he's second or third, seems like every year. Howard, he's won it before, so he had a good year, but that's incredible how good Arizona's been. But we got Zach Thompson getting some votes. We got Renaga getting some votes. This is a guy who started out his career, I thought, looking about as good as anybody I had ever seen in this playthrough, and then got some injury problems. I think he's going to finish with a good career, numbers-wise. Probably going to have a Hall of Fame career once it's all said and done, but he hasn't been the player that he started out to be. But that was it for the Phillies. I mean, only Thompson got some votes. It's kind of crazy when you consider, we had the second best record in baseball, and we had, at least on the pitching side, we had a lot of good performers. But last thing I'll look at here is the Hall of Fame voting, and then I'll go offline to get through the offseason. So Altuve is still out there. I'm going to vote for him. I think, you finish with just under 300 batting average, 2,600 hits. Maybe the wins above replacement aren't there, but I think the rest is. I'm also voting for Nolan Arenado. I think he's probably going to make it this year, unless some really big players come on. So first year, Yoslandy Brooks didn't put up the numbers. Grant Burton, pretty good career, but again, low average, a lot of strikeouts. Mike Cochran, he was a Rookie of the Year, had a pretty decent run for the Yankees, but just didn't finish with the kind of numbers he needed. Kadir Daman, 150 wins, was a Cy Young Award winner at New York. How many strikeouts did he have? 2,100. Ezekiel De La Cruz, not enough wins. Nick Dunn, pretty decent career for him. What helps him is his walks and on base percentage is pretty high for his career. so it's going to give him a high wins above replacement. Luis Garcia, not a bad career. Only one All-Star appearance, though, but 250 batting average is really going to hurt him. So who else we got? Jay Collin, catcher, a good catcher, multi-All-Star award winner, but didn't really put up too impressive of a number, or in the numbers. This guy, Juan Huertas, had 62 home runs one season. Never won a major award, but he was a multi All-Star. Chris James, starting pitcher who really started his career out looking like he was going to be one of the better ones in the league or in the game, and then got injured and fell apart, really. Kept getting some big contracts toward the end of his career. I think Atlanta gave him a big contract at the end, and he was injured for most of it. Mike Lockfeld, former Philly, one of our few 20-game winners in this playthrough. Back in 2029, he had 20 wins. But after he left the Phillies, just, kind of stayed around a few more years, mainly as a reliever. Didn't put up a good career. So we got Eric Madrak, former Philly. He was here a few years ago. May have been here when we started. I don't know if he was. No, we never made the playoffs with him. That's true. He was a big free agent signing at the time, though, because he'd had a good career with Tampa Bay and gave us 3 years of just subpar performance for the money we gave him. He did finish with 161 wins for his career, though. Kevin Mayton, pretty good player. Overall, I don't think his numbers are there for the Hall of Fame. Nomar Mazara, I've been voting for this guy before. I still think of the candidates out there, I still think he's one of the best when you look at his numbers. Austin Meadows, same deal. I mean, when you look at the numbers he's put up. Diego Medina, Chris Mercury, another guy who started off his career looking like he was going to be the best in the game and then started getting injured and really tailed off at the end. Don't think he's going to make it. I don't think his numbers justify Hall of Fame at this point. Zach Rowland, former Philly closer for a while, finished with 358 saves, pretty good number there. Chris Selway, a good pitcher with Kansas City for a while, but didn't put up the total numbers he needs. Kendall Simmons, pretty good career, just don't see the Hall of Fame in that. And then finally Tatis, I'm voting for him. 81 wins above replacement. I think he's eventually going to make it of this class into the Hall of Fame. Trejo, no. Waters, no. So that'll do it. I mean, 5 guys here. One of them, I think, Arenado's probably going to make it of this group. But that'll do it for this episode. I'm kind of disappointed, as you can tell, but I'm going to give it one more year, and hopefully we'll have it in us. But I'm starting to think that the World Series is just not going to happen. But otherwise, it's been a good playthrough, good run that we've had, especially to end it. 5 straight National League East titles, 3 times in the World Series. I don't think that's a bad result, but to get over the hump and win the World Series would be sweet. But as always, I appreciate you guys watching, liking, commenting, and one more season to go, and then we'll move on, and hopefully you'll stay around with me to finish it, and I'll see you next episode.